everyone. Today we will learn about inborn errors of metabolism. Now why we call this as inborn errors of metabolism is because these kind of errors are found when a child is born. That means to say it comes genetically. Genetic modification of certain pathways in the process of metabolism that results in few errors. Errors means you all know that mistake. Now what mistake can happen? Either there can be a deletion of certain enzyme or some enzyme may not be working properly so that any particular amino acid doesn't get metabolized completely or in a proper regulated way. That's why they result in errors and it affects the metabolism. Now this person Archibald E. Gerard, who is an English physician, he wrote a book on these inborn errors of metabolism and in 1908, and he proposed that we all know that genes are responsible for producing certain enzymes, right? So what happens when these genes are in normal condition? They give rise to a particular enzyme or they form a particular enzyme, whereas when these genes undergoes mutation, you all know that what is mutation, right? It's a change that occurs in a nucleotide. So when these genes undergoes mutation, the mutated form of the gene, do you think that also produce the same kind of original enzyme? No. Why? Because it has undergone mutation. So this mutated form of genes will not produce these enzymes which was originally produced by a normal gene. Now in that case what happens? There is no enzyme, means there is a absence of enzyme, and because of that it affects the physiological process of an individual and results in physiological abnormalities, right? This is what we call as errors in metabolism. Now he showed that Archibald Gerard showed that the metabolism proceeds in a chains of enzyme mediated reactions, and a change or absence of any enzyme results in abnormality. Now what is an abnormality? Anything that deviates from its normal condition is what we call as abnormality. Now what happens when such physiological abnormalities occur? That results in a change or absence of an enzyme which is required for that particular process of metabolism. And since that enzyme which is required is absent, that results in an abnormality. And he mainly studied the metabolism of amino acid called as phenylalanine. Now this phenylalanine is an essential amino acid, one of the essential amino acid, and when this phenylalanine does not metabolize completely in a proper regulated way, this gives rise to three important diseases. That means one amino acid, by not undergoing proper metabolic, which is not undergoing a proper metabolic pathway, or when a single amino acid like phenylalanine is not metabolized properly or completely, that results in three important disorders. So there are three disorders that are associated with the metabolic breakdown of phenylalanine. Which are they? First and the important one is the phenylketonuria. Second one is alkaptonuria. And the third one, albinism. So these are the three disorders that will result because of improper metabolism of one essential amino acid, that is phenylalanine. Understood? Now let us learn each disease one by one, what it means to a person, what are its symptoms and how you can recognize it and how it can be treated. So let's learn all these three one by one. Now first let's take up phenylketonuria. Now as we all know, this phenylketonuria is a resultant of improper metabolism of phenylalanine. Now let us understand what happens in a normal condition. In a normal condition, what happens? This phenylalanine, when you take it into your body through the dietary supplements, this phenylalanine is broken down to another compound called as tyrosine, and for this conversion it requires an enzyme known as phenylalanine hydroxylase. So the phenylalanine hydroxylase is the enzyme that does the job of converting phenylalanine into tyrosine. But when this production of phenylalanine hydroxylase is done by a gene called as PAH gene, right? Now this gene is responsible for the formation of this enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase. Now what happens when this PAH gene undergoes mutation? When this PAH gene undergoes mutation, it fails to produce the enzyme, which is the enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase. Then what will happen? Whatever the phenylalanine that you take through your dietary supplements, this phenylalanine cannot convert to tyrosine. Now why it cannot get converted to tyrosine? Because there is an absence of an enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase. Fine. So what happens in that case? When this phenylalanine hydroxylase is absent, there is no conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine. Now when it does not get converted to tyrosine, what happens? The concentration of phenylalanine in the blood increases. When its concentration increases in the blood, this phenylalanine further give rise to its byproducts or its derivatives known as phenylpyruvate, phenylacetate, phenylactate and other minute derivatives, and these byproducts of this accumulation of phenylalanine gets accumulated in the blood. It gets accumulated in the blood and it is excreted through urine. Now when it gets accumulated in the blood, what happens? When this phenylpyruvate concentration increases in the blood, that has an ability to cross through the blood-brain barrier. That means from the bloodstream it can pass through the CSF, that is cerebrospinal fluid, and from there it can enter into your brain and it can damage the brain cells, because of which it results in mental retardation. It can affect the functioning of your brain, right? So because of that, a child who is suffering from this phenylketonuria, he or she will not have a very good IQ. So this is what determines this phenylketonuria. Now this disease is not very common in occurrence. It occurs once in 1 in 10,000 individuals. Like if you take around 10,000 individuals, out of 10,000, any one could be affected. That is the frequency of this disease, phenylketonuria. Now you can ask me, like how this, we said they are inborn errors, meaning to say they are connected with the genes. When it is coming through the genes, that means it is inherited, right? So how this disease get inherited? Now these diseases, especially this diseases of phenylketonuria, it is an autosomal homozygous recessive disease. Means to say autosomal because this gene, the PAH gene that we discussed, it is present on one of the autosomes. We know that chromosomes are of two types, the autosomes and the sex chromosomes. So here this gene is present on chromosome number 12, which is a autosome. To be more specific, it is present on the long arm of the chromosome number 12, and this get inherited when the allele or the gene, which is represented as small p's, when they are present in homozygous recessive condition. Meaning to say, when a child inherits two homozygous recessive gene from its parents, one from the father and one from the mother, then in this homozygous recessive condition, the disease get expressed, right? Now, what do you mean when the disease get expressed? It means that this individual will lack an ability to produce this enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase. As a result, the concentration of, the phenylalanine cannot get converted to tyrosine, which in turn results in increased concentration of phenylalanine in the blood, wherein the phenylalanine get broken down to phenylpyruvate, phenylactate, phenylacetate and other derivatives. And when these phenylpyruvate, when it crosses the blood-brain barrier, it reaches the brain and it affects the functioning of the brain cells, thereby resulting in mental retardation. In addition to this, what are the other symptoms of this disease, phenylketonuria? Here you see some kind of pigmentation in the body, and it also results in physical and mental retardation. And these individuals who have this mental retardation, we said their general IQ will be less around, their IQ will be less than 65%, or say much more lesser of around 45 to 60%. And why they'll have a less IQ is because due to damage of the brain tissue, because this phenylactate and the pyruvate, they enter into the CF and they affect the brain. And such individuals who have less IQ because of this phenylpyruvate, they are called as phenylpyruvate idiots. Now, how do you test? How do you know that a person is suffering from phenylketonuria? There's one simple test wherein they put urine, when you add ferric chloride to it, it gives green color because of the presence of ketone bodies, which gives you a clue that a person or a child is suffering from phenylketonuria. Then how can we avoid, or how to control, or how to prevent this disease? The only thing is you have to avoid, or you should have a diet free of phenylalanine. That means you should not take any dietary supplements which in turn has this amino acid phenylalanine in it, or which can give rise to phenylalanine during the process of metabolism. And this is prescribed at least till the age of 14, because after 14 years there is not much development of the brain occurring, so that the damage can be minimized. This is how you can prevent the occurrence of phenylketonuria. I hope you understood this. Thank you.